Hello, welcome to Black Friday with Brittany Kennedy. Today is July 3rd, 2020, and I hope you guys are ready to boycott July 4th, okay? I posted a video about why Black people should stop celebrating July 4th, and I got some really great responses on it. So I hope you guys are ready to not buy into this holiday. That is not our holiday. I think what we should be doing is number one, not spending any money at all on that day. Like if you can avoid it, spend zero money, $0. I think that would really help drive in the movement and the things that we are doing right now in the community, in the Black community, worldwide, nationwide. Also, if you are going to get together with family, I know it's like a really big tradition already, right? For a lot of people, it's already kind of indoctrinated into most people's lifestyle. Every 4th of July, they're going to celebrate. Maybe try like, I don't know, watching a movie that celebrates your Black history, educating your family, your loved ones about what actually was going on that time or during that time. We were not free, guys, at all. Some of us were, some of us were not in terms of our ancestors. And I feel like the way that it works is if one person is not free, then nobody's free. Like, if we're going to unite and try to function as one body, right? We can't say that like the brain is functioning and then the rest of the body is not. So to me, that's what it meant when people say, well, people in the North were free and people in the South were slaves. Well, I'm sorry, but if my brother and my sister are still slaves and they're still being treated poorly, then we're not all equal. We're not all free. I do not understand why people really go out of their way to celebrate this holiday. It's not our independence, guys. Anywho, if you want to learn more about what I had to say about it, just go check out the video. For those of you guys that are new to Black Friday with Brittany Kennedy, this is a space where I like to talk about socioeconomic issues in the Black community that are too taboo to talk about. I like to talk about them. My thought process is that we will start to create awareness, and that awareness will help build solutions, thus making a better community for all of our people, right? So we have this lovely movement going on, and we are plugging ahead, trying to see how we can make a difference. As I said, I posted a video last week called Black People Stop Celebrating July 4th, right? And I got so many responses and so many views. I'm feeling so loved, so supported. And really, it's not so much about that. It's really just about the fact that people are tuning in and paying attention, and they are ready to absorb that information that's going to allow us to rise as we should, right? There's a shift in consciousness happening, and so to see so many people like tune in, most of my videos have gotten about 250 views tops. This one got 600 within a 2-day span. It was incredible to watch those numbers climbing and to see the feedback that I was getting on the different Facebook groups that I'm in. There's a group called Black Consciousness. I really love that group. A lot of people really actually comment and give you their opinions and their ideas and where they're at. And I love that. I love that fellowship of seeing our people come together, sharing ideas, even if we don't agree. So this week, another very controversial video. I want to talk about voting, right? Why Black people do not vote. Why we do not vote in America. It's an issue, guys. And I understand how we arrived here. I understand that a lot of our people feel like it's a waste of time. My vote doesn't matter. It doesn't count, etc., etc. I completely 100% disagree. 100%. I know the system has been designed to fuck us over. I know that they make voting extremely difficult for us to even be able to do by not supplementing the Black communities the way they should with adequate polls and things like that, or voting stations. However, over time, we could make a difference. This is not a one-stop shop, fix it. We're not going to just be able to rewind time and be equal all of a sudden. And our people need to really get out of this mindset. It's not going to happen, guys. I don't know why it's so ingrained in your brain housing to think that, like, you know what, that doesn't work. We have to think about the problem, right? The big problem is that we are not all created equal, that they are shitting on us incredibly so. That is a problem. Racism is a problem. Now, in order to really gain the traction that we need, it's not just one solution. It's not just voting. Voting isn't going to all of a sudden make us equal, but it's one piece of a puzzle. And with a combination of a lot of other things, we can eventually start to really make progress. And that's what a lot of our people are not understanding. A lot of young people are not understanding. And when I say young, I don't mean like 18 to 24. I mean kind of like that group that's about 30 to about 40. I still consider that fairly young. And a lot of those people are feeling like thinking, my vote doesn't matter. If you have the ability to vote, meaning if your right has not been relinquished, vote. Please, it's imperative. I'm going to get into my research, but just off the top of it, we got Trump because we didn't vote. And I say that because in 2012, all of the 2 elections where Obama was running for president, we showed up. Our numbers excelled white people's in terms of voter turnout. As soon as he was out of office, it's like every black person or the majority of black people that had come out to vote for him were like, okay, I'm good. I don't have another candidate. I'm going to sit down. And do you know what happened? Trump even thanked black people for not coming out to vote because it was because of us that he's in office. That's saying something, guys. That's saying something. That's saying a lot. But anywho, I'm going to get right into my research. I don't want to hold you here too long. So, pewresearch.org. Again, for you guys that are new, I post all the links in the bottom. So all you have to do is just click that drop down box and you'll see all the links. You can check it out yourself. This is Pew Research Center. This is May 12, 2017. Black voter turnout fell in 2016, even as a record number of Americans cast ballots. And these graphs are pretty alarming. In terms of what it shows. And I'm looking for something very specific and I'm not sure why it's not showing the article. Awkward. Anyways. Okay, here we go. A record 137.5 million Americans voted in the 2016 presidential election, according to new data from the U.S. Census Bureau. Overall voter turnout, defined as the share of adult U.S. citizens who cast ballots, was 61.4 in 2016, a share similar to 2012, but below 63.6 who say they voted in 2008. A number of long-standing trends in presidential elections either reversed or stalled in 2016 as black voter turnout decreased. White turnout increased, and the non-white share of the U.S. electorate remained flat since the 2012 election. Here are some key takeaways from the Census Bureau, blah, 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 blah. So basically, if you look at this graph, it just shows how, what happened, how we just didn't show up at all. It says, with Barack Obama on the ballot that year, the black voter turnout rate surpassed that of whites for the first time. I already explained that. So let's go ahead and just get into the next article. According to history.com, it's not according to, but this is where I got the information from because I was not aware already. I forgot this information as to when we gained our right to vote. 1866, right? That was a really long time ago. In 1865, that is when Texas finally released the last amount of slaves that they had and allowed them to be free. Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1863. So we have been able to vote for a long time. Our people, our ancestors, shed their blood for us to have the right and the ability to vote. And I feel like it is a slap in their face for us not to exercise that right, to just feel like our voice doesn't matter. I mean, just think about your ancestors. I imagine them rolling over in their graves at those who have this mindset that voting isn't necessary. or it doesn't make a difference. Those people are probably like, yeah, I didn't have a voice. You think you don't have a voice? I didn't have a voice. That's what, to me, that's what they're thinking, or that's what your ancestors would be telling you. I couldn't speak up, not without getting lashed, killed, whipped, whatever. And you have the freedom, the ability to go out and exercise your right to vote. And you don't. We don't. Now, there has been a very large, what would I call it? So it's been portrayed in society that Black people don't vote, when in all actuality, we do vote. We actually vote higher than any other minority here in America. But there's a lot of us that still don't vote. And I think we really need to change that narrative. I'm looking at an article from The Guardian. It's called "Do Black People Vote? The Racist Lie Rooted in the American Psyche." So this is what I want to get down to right here. After the Civil War, Black voter turnout boomed and elected nearly 20 Black people to the House and Senate, and many more to local and state positions. By December 1887, however, Congress convened without one Black member in about 2 decades, leading to the Negroes' temporary farewell when Black people were excluded from Congress. As Black people gained political power during Reconstruction, Southern states passed stringent voter ID laws and gave Black people voting literacy tests that included outlandish questions such as how many plies are on a roll of toilet paper, or how many bubbles does a bar of soap have. Some were even lynched for voting or asking for the right to vote. Black people became disenchanted with the Republican Party, and some started to align with the civil rights arm of the Democratic Party as Jim Crow continued to disenfranchise them. Once the 15th Amendment was restored during the Civil Rights Movement, Black people instantly became a strong voting bloc for the Democratic Party, particularly in the South. Now, you have the right to vote. It is your God-given right to vote, to have a voice, to have a say in who governs us, who speaks for us. And yet, here, as I have just read here, it talks about how we were asked ridiculous questions. Ridiculous, like, you should know that your voice matters by the simple sheer fact that your oppressors go out of their way to keep you silent. That in and of itself, just out of rebellion, should promote you to get your asses up and go vote. The fact that somebody takes their time to redline, district, do all this crap in the community to keep you silent, to make you feel defeated, to make you feel like your voice doesn't matter, in and of itself says to you, should say to you, I have power. I have power in my voice. I have power in my abilities to speak up. You, to me, by not speaking up, is just such a huge waste and such a disgrace to, I feel like, to our people, to yourself, to pass on that message to children, to people in the world, in the community, that their voice doesn't matter, their voice doesn't count, doesn't make a difference, is ignorant. And honestly, the white people just sit back and they're like, we got this. They don't even think their voice matters. White people will let you know their voice matters. Excuse me, may I speak to your manager? They'll pull a Karen in 2.5 seconds. I'm sorry, I didn't like the way that you spoke to me. Your customer service is, they have learned the effective art of communication. They know how to make sure they are heard. And if it's money you need, they'll pull it out. Whatever. Oh, I really, really, really want my child in this school. I'll make a donation to this. or I really want to see more stop signs in my neighborhood, I'll make a donation to this. We are not paying attention. We're saying that our voices don't matter, that it doesn't make a difference. And yet, we're not aware of how much it actually does make a difference. I'll explain to you in a second the Electoral College, because that was everybody's rebuttal when I posed a question in Black consciousness. Hey, Black people need to vote. I don't need to vote. The Electoral College is the one that decides everything anyways, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. But anywho, there is some truth to that, but also still very much bullshit. So, moving right along here to the next article. Let's skip that one. We're going to go to New York Magazine. This article is Black turnout could make or break Democrats in 2020. They predicted this. This article was written November 15, 2019. Okay? So they've already predicted that Black turnout, Black voters, is the one that's going to make a difference in this goddamn election here in November. It says, among the many factors that contributed to Hillary Clinton's shocking defeat in 2016, one pretty much everyone agrees upon, though not necessarily about its relative significance, is a fall-off in African American turnout relative to 2012. The numbers are clear, as Political reported in 2017. So, the Census Current Population Survey released Wednesday shows 65% of white citizens cast ballots in last year's presidential election, up from 64% 4 years earlier. But the turnout rate among African American citizens tumbled sharply, the survey shows. Only 59% of Black citizens voted in 2016, down from 66% in 2012 and 65% in 2008. 65%, honestly, when you had a Black president, when we had a Black president running for office, is ridiculous. There's no reason why that shouldn't have been at 100% or 90% or even 70%. Granted, we showed up more than white people did at that point in time, because I'm sure the white people were like, you know what, I'm not voting, there's a Black person on the ballot, blah, 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 or who knows why they chose not to show up. But the point is that the fact that only 65% of Black Americans showed up in 2008 is just sheer utter ridiculousness. The fact that he didn't have more like an 80%, 90% show up, this is why Black people this is why we don't have better candidates. We don't support. So if you don't give those out there, our people, the idea that they will be supported, maybe they're not running. Just think about what this message of us not voting is sending to children or young adults who have an interest in politics, right? Kids that are like, I want to be the president little Black kids, little Black boys, little Black girls saying, I want to be the president. Then they grow up and they find out that, like, mommy doesn't vote, daddy doesn't vote, the whole family doesn't vote. They're always talking about how our vote doesn't matter. And then they decide, well, since the vote doesn't matter, and they think like that, maybe I don't want to be president. Maybe I don't want to, because my people aren't even going to support me. They're not going to show up. We don't show up to celebrate, to congratulate, to uplift our own people. And yet we complain about not having better options, but we don't put better options there. How are you going to complain about something that you're not trying to assist in any manner whatsoever by sitting on your goddamn couch? And the very people that are refusing to vote, to me, are the same people that are sitting on their couch complaining or on Facebook texting or posting on commentary about all their socioeconomic issues and all the things that they have to go through. And yet they're the very goddamn people who aren't willing to actually stand up and make a difference or do something by exercising their right to vote. How do you do that? To me, that is so beyond incredible that our people have the audacity to complain about issues that they're not willing to fix, or that they'll go out and loot and protest, but then not follow up with a vote. How do you go out and protest and loot and then be like, but my voice doesn't matter? Then what the hell were you in the street screaming about? Because this is where it matters. Yes, we have made a difference there. And yes, everybody's got a different lane. Everybody's got a different section that they may want to be in. Maybe you just don't want to vote. You're not going to ever vote, and that's your choice. I don't have to agree with your choice. I don't have to congratulate you for your choice. I don't have to uplift you for that choice because I think that choice is not helping our people. I think it's a negative connotation. Just my opinion. I don't know. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm not going to get more into this, but basically New York Magazine, like I said, has already predicted that black voting turnout is what is going to make the difference. Like, honestly, Trump totally not only acknowledged, he thanked the black community for not showing up because he realized that it was a lack of our showing up that allowed him to have the margin that he did. So, moving right along here to the Electoral College. For all of you people who are like, my vote doesn't matter, the Electoral College is the one that decides. Yes, they have that power. But you know who gives them that power? You give them that power. You do. So, I'm going to have to wrap this up because my son is crying. But the U.S. House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. You, the people. The electors are made up of House of Representatives and senators. You vote them. Pay attention to your local election. If you're not paying attention to your local election, you are doing yourself and your community and the entire borders of America and the black people that exist in it a great disservice. Because those people, when they get to become electors, they really don't move. They really don't move. Like you will see if you look it up, and I'm going to put the links down there, you will be able to click on it and find out who the electors that you will be electing this November are for your specific state. These people are the ones that make up the Electoral College, guys. Pay attention to your senators, your governors. These are the people that get up there. Your House of Representatives, your Congress. This is where the Electoral College comes from. I don't know why you guys think that somebody else is nominating them. You nominate them. You nominate them to be in the position to be nominated for the Electoral College. Why do you not understand that? Did nobody pay attention to history in America? What were you doing during that period? I know they breezed through it, but you could have at least, like the government section where they talk about the different legislations in government, you should have been paying attention. Pay attention to your local elections. Pay attention to your district. Pay attention to the judges, the district attorney. They are the ones locking our people up. Working with the police. Please pay attention. It's imperative. Your vote matters. Our votes matter. My son is so upset. I don't know if you can even hear him crying, but he has obviously woken up from his nap, so I need to go take care of my lovely little black boy. I know that there are other black boys out there. We need to protect our children, our families. And I know it's not going to make a difference right now, but over time, it will make a difference actually. Over time, we will potentially get that part where we've got more of a hand in Congress and more a hand in the Senate because we've got black people there, but we have to elect them. We have to support each other in our community. If you know somebody who is interested in politics, who could run for office, you should be talking to them about this kind of stuff. It's not that difficult. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are listening. I hope you're absorbing the information. I hope you like it. I hope you share it. I hope you support each other, support black businesses. Please, it is imperative. Try to boycott July 4th, please. I have to go because my son is like crying his butt off. So, again, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, and share. Ciao.